Every day the sun rises, every day people wake, doors open, roads fill, life begins, again. And most days pass quietly, but some mornings feel different. Before a person even speaks, they know. Today is not ordinary. Homes wake differently. Roads feel different. Clothes are chosen differently. Children look at the world differently. People travel, people gather, people greet, people remember. Not because the day itself has power, but because Allah gave it honor. And among the days of the year, there is one day that arrives carrying remembrance, carrying gratitude, carrying sacrifice, carrying joy, Eid, al-Adha. But before celebration, there is a question. What exactly are we celebrating? Because Revelation never taught believers to celebrate emptiness, not routine, not culture, not repetition, meaning millions. Complete Hajj, millions do not. Some gather, some remain home, some celebrate surrounded by family. Some celebrate quietly, some celebrate carrying grief. Some celebrate missing people, some celebrate while asking Allah for another year. But the day remains, and the day reminds. This episode is not a tutorial. This is not a history documentary. This is not the story of Ibrahim. This is Eid al-Adha, through Qur'an and authentic Sunnah. Why does submission become celebration? The world teaches sacrifice differently. Give something, lose something, pay something, then measure what remains. But Revelation changes the meaning. Allah says, "It is neither their meat nor their blood that reaches Allah, but what reaches Him is your taqwa." Let those words sit. Not the meat, not the blood, not appearance, not performance, not public. Image taqwa. And suddenly, Eid changes. Because Eid al-Adha was never meant to become a competition. Not whose animal, not whose table, not whose gathering, not whose celebration. Taqwa. Tubhi. Qur'an shifts the believer's eyes. The sacrifice was never the destination. The heart was. Think carefully. 2. People can stand side by side. Same action. Different hearts. One reaches Allah, one reaches people. Then Revelation gives another layer. Allah says, "So pray to your Lord and sacrifice." Prayer, then sacrifice. Connection, then action. Return, then offering. And suddenly Eid stops being about outward celebration. It becomes a reminder. Submission comes first. Everything else follows. The believer is not celebrating loss. The believer is celebrating nearness, not because something was given away, but because the heart was turned toward Allah. If sacrifice does not reach Allah, what does? There is a kind of celebration the world understands. Easily, noise, entertainment, consumption, distraction, movement, and there is another kind of celebration, one that Revelation teaches, one that becomes bigger, not because people become louder, but because hearts become softer. Eid. Al-Adha enters carrying something unusual, joy, but discipline, celebration, but connected gathering, but remembering the messenger preserved something beautiful. These are days of eating, days of drinking, and days of remembrance of Allah. Think carefully. Not eating alone, not enjoyment alone. Remembrance remains, even celebration stays. Connected, that changes everything, because suddenly, joy itself becomes worship, family becomes worship. Smiling becomes worship. Giving becomes worship. Feeding becomes worship. Sharing becomes worship. Not because the actions changed, but because the heart changed. The believer does not leave Allah behind to celebrate. The believer celebrates because of Allah. And maybe that is one of the most beautiful things about Eid al-Adha. The believer is allowed to feel happiness, not guilt, not emptiness, not performance. Joy, but joy that remembers. The day teaches balance. You are not created only to carry burdens. You are not created only to survive. You are allowed to feel gratitude, allowed to gather, allowed to smile, allowed to rest, allowed to celebrate. But Revelation quietly asks, when your joy increases, does your remembrance disappear? Because Eid is not escaping worship. Eid is worship becoming visible. If celebration helped us forget Allah, Did we understand Eid? There is something difficult about submission. People often imagine submission as loss, as restriction, as giving things up, as becoming smaller. But Revelation shows something unexpected. Submission expands the heart. The believer learns something through Eid. Al-Adha. You do not become poor by giving. You do not become empty by sacrificing. You do not become forgotten by obeying Allah, because submission is not destruction. Submission is alignment. This is why Eid feels different. People greet each other. People forgive. People reconnect. People feed. People remember those who are absent. People make dua. People become softer, and suddenly the day begins to reveal its deeper secret. The sacrifice is not ending something. It is opening something. Opening generosity. Opening gratitude. Opening humility. Opening trust. The believer quietly asks, what have I been holding? That Allah asked me to release? Pride, fear, delay, attachment, distance, because not every sacrifice is visible, and not every offering is placed in front of people. Some sacrifices happen entirely inside the heart, and Allah sees them all. What would become possible if the heart stopped resisting Allah? Eventually, the morning becomes afternoon. The gatherings begin to quiet. The roads become calmer. Messages slow down. People return home. The day begins to leave. And sacred days always leave a question behind. Not, did we enjoy it? Not, did we post it? Not, did we look happy? But did something change? Because Eid al-Adha was never meant to become decoration. It was meant to become direction. The believer stands at the end of the day and realizes the celebration was never the destination. The celebration pointed somewhere back to gratitude, back to remembrance, back to Allah. And perhaps this is why sacred days return, because people forget and Allah gives reminders again and again and again. So when Eid leaves, do not leave everything with it. Take something forward. Take remembrance. Take gratitude. Take generosity. Take softness. Take trust, because the day ends, but submission was never meant to end. Eid al-Adha is the day submission became celebration, and celebration became remembrance. May Allah accept from us and allow us to leave sacred days better than we entered them.